Excited to break in the new microphone?
This is a new mic?
Well, no, but it's a new setup.
Yes, I am. I feel a lot of pressure, though, considering how much research you did on microphones.
Correct. Now, clap.
All right, now I feel like Angie Pumps from I've Had It.
Don't look at me the whole time.
Well, stop talking to me.
I wasn't talking to you.
Listeners, do you see what I have to deal with? 3, 2, 1. That was a good clap. Good to see you all. It's been a minute. Ash put out a poll on Patreon and voted on things that y'all wanted to see on this channel. And one of the top things is, what has Gray been up to? And so I am here to tell you what I've been up to. I'm sorry if it's boring, and hopefully you don't regret your decision. So anyway, before I get started, I am going to talk about a couple of things, including spoilers for this book, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So if you have not read those books, and if you have interest in reading those books, I would not watch this video, and instead go and read about 1,000 pages of books, and then come on back and watch this video, and then comment about what you thought, because I would love it. And that is going to get me into my first topic of what I've been up to. Right around Thanksgiving-ish time, I had a couple of weeks off of work, which was very much needed. And Ash and I embarked on a couple of very intense projects. That was way too much for us to take on, but it consisted of 3 things. One was me remodeling our kids' bathroom because we didn't like the tile in there, and we didn't really like the wall color, we didn't like the lighting, and so I embarked to redo it. And then Ash built the kids their playroom downstairs. We both helped each other a bit. But then the third one was that we wanted to do something together, and we decided to read Fourth Wing together because there was a ton of hype. Actually, Ash picked it out. I had actually never heard of the book, which is wild considering how much Fourth Wing TikTok I'm on now. And it was, we had originally thought that we were going to read it out loud together. So I would read some, then Ash would read some, then I would, and then Ash would. But it turns out that Ash doesn't like to read out loud. And so I ended up just reading the entire thing out loud to Ash over the period of a couple of weeks. And let me tell you, I fell in love with the world. And I know that there's some people like, there's so many other better fantasy books out there. And I'll be like, you're probably right. But I am a sucker for dragons, and I absolutely loved it. And over between Thanksgiving and a couple weeks ago, we finished Iron Flame. So we finished the 2 books, reading them out loud before bed every night, over a month or so. And it's become a really lovely tradition, is that every night before we go to bed, we read. And now we're on to the ACOTAR series, or A Court of Thorns and Roses. And we're really enjoying that as well. So I would love the book recommendations. But oh my gosh, I need people to talk about the Empyrean series or Fourth Wing and Iron Flame with, because Ash is kind of like over it. And I just want to talk about it. I have so many theories about what Violet's second signet is, why, what's going to happen with Xaden now, looking at what are the connection between Lilith Sorrengail and, what Violet is now with her hair. And it's just oh my gosh, I've been listening to a podcast called Fantasy Girls Podcast. Shout out to y'all. I love your podcast. And talking about all of the chapters. And oh my gosh, they are amazing at dissecting every chapter and nuance, and it's making me appreciate the entire thing. I really want to go rebuy it and reread it again, because there's so much more that you catch on the second read. And but Ash won't let me.
That's not true. We can totally lend the book to my mom. We can buy another copy.
I thought you weren't here.
I don't want to reread it, but you can reread it. You're already re-listening to the dramatized audio version.
You know what, listeners?
How much Fourth Wing does someone need?
More! And you know what? I guarantee there will at least be one person, hey you, yeah, you watching this, do me a solid. if you have read these books, and explain to Ash in the comments of why I feel this way. Okay? Please and thank you. But if you do have recommendations for other fantasy series or other book series, or if there's just like a book that you're like, oh my God, this was the best thing that I have read. I like a lot of let me just tell you what I like about in books. I like a good, fast-paced narrative. I don't like things kind of like taking too long. I like to understand what like the next plot point is. I don't like kind of the meanderingness in some books. And sometimes it's really good for world building and things like that. But I'm kind of like, let's get to it. I really like that. I love a strong feminist character in the beginning. I love that. I also love a ton of diversity. One of the reasons I love Fourth Wing is because the main character, Violet, has EDS, which is something that I have. And to have representation and like having that still be like the most powerful person is really, really cool. There's also a ton of representation from like non-binary folks to deaf folks, and there's a bunch of other things that are represented in the book, and I think that's just super cool. And you know what? Even though Dane has a little bit of a redemption in Iron Flame, still like fuck Dane, right? Am I right? Like he just super sucked in the first book, and I'm gonna stand by that. Okay, so that's like Fourth Wing.
What's Grace been up to? It's just Fourth Wing. Okay, moving on.
This is supposed to be my video, listeners. I can make an entire video just on that. Just like put it in the comments if you want Ash to let me talk about Fourth Wing just for an hour. I can do that for you. Don't worry. But moving on, because there's other stuff to talk about, is how I've been feeling, like mentally, emotionally, physically. So for those of you that don't follow us on Instagram, we don't really post it often, so like you don't have to go do it. But I broke my foot back in late August, early September. I broke it in 5 spots, like across the entire top of my foot. And that has been quite the challenge for me to rehab, unfortunately. I was in a cast for a while, and it healed, but it has taken me a really long time to get back to like walking without pain. And so I don't know if anybody's ever had foot injuries, but they just take a long time. And now being older, it's just taken a lot more. Luckily, I have an amazing friend, Brianna, who's a physical therapist and has been helping me tremendously with it. And I've been trying to take care of it, doing all the right stuff. So that's like one thing physically. Things have been, pretty good at work. For those of you that don't know, it's not a huge secret. You can just Google it. But like, I work in tech, and that's been really good. It's been kind of a weird time in the tech space. There's been like just like a lot of uncertainty and stuff, so that can be like kind of taxing and stressful. But at the same time, I like to think that I'm pretty good at my job, and I've had a lot of fun over some of the projects that I've been working on, and the people I work with are just like amazing and fantastic, and so I feel really lucky. But I also did a lot of traveling this year. I went to, I don't even know how many states. I also went to London for work. So it was just kind of a taxing year from that perspective, but it's also a lot of fun. You get to like forge a lot of relationships with people, and that's cool. I have absolutely been obsessed with our kids. They are the most amazing humans in the entire world. I will start crying if I start talking about them. I actually love them even more than I love Fourth Wing. So seeing them, do a ton of developmental things. They're also like super great at sign. That's been super cool. And I think I'm just trying to like in this parenthood of trying to prioritize, like finding the balance between prioritizing them, prioritizing my relationship with Ash, and then prioritizing myself, and trying to find like that balance is still a work in progress, but it's something that I actually think I'm getting better at. And I think Ash and I have both, like, parenthood has forced us to advocate for ourselves in new ways that I think has been really healthy. And it's allowed us to, like, really appreciate one another and, like, the time that we have together. And I've just found it incredibly rewarding. And then just, like, one-on-one time, like, one with one of the twins, and then having one-on-one time with the other, and then having time with the two of them and family time. And I can't tell you how much laughter fills our house at the end of a day. Like, when we're trying to get them tired to go to bed, and Ash is like playing monsters with them and like tickling them, and we're just like running around. It's just like there's so much joy in those moments that any like part of stress that I feel, like it's amazing to have that fade away in those moments. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a ton of part of parenthood that is also incredibly stressful whenever the kids are sick. One of our kids was hospitalized with RSV earlier this year, and that was really hard and scary. And that was just like, it's such a interesting experience because you feel like so helpless and you just want to take it away. So there's a ton of roller coasters that you go on, but I feel like in the moments of like freedom and laughter, it all just like, it feels incredibly worth it. And it almost, the only thing that like makes me sad about it is I don't, I know our kids won't remember these moments, but I will. And luckily we've taken a few videos and hopefully we can show them that we were a lot of fun.
I don't think they'll remember the moments cognitively, but I think they will, like, in their nervous system.
Yeah.
Like, they'll know that we're safe and fun. And hilarious.
And hilarious, 100%. But, one of our kiddos, like, when they're sad, I just hold them and they, like, melt into me. And I just find that to be, like, the sweetest thing ever. And then when the other, who's much more independent, when they, need that too, I just feel like this sense of, I don't know how to describe, there's not even a word for it, but like this overwhelming amount of joy and happiness and love that just feels like it encompasses us. And that, like, I love that I feel safe to them, and I feel very lucky to have that. So with that, I'm glad that y'all wanted to know what I was up to. I hope that this scratched the itch. If you'd like me to come on more and talk about, a myriad of topics, Fourth Wing or Iron Flame or the Empyrean series, I am more than happy to do so. So with that, okay, bye. I'm not actually done yet. So I think that I've actually had a lot of fun doing this. And so for those of you that don't know, Ash runs an amazing Patreon. It's actually a really cool community. They're awesome. So couple things. I think I might, just for funsies, either you can put down in the comments, or maybe we'll put a poll on Patreon so I actually do something that you'd like. One, I'll either do an AMA on Patreon, and I'll film it and I'll answer a bunch of questions on there. Or I will do an entire breakdown of my, like, maybe I'll do 2 videos, one of Fourth Wing and one of Iron Flame, because like you need to. But so go to Patreon, go and tell me what you'd like me to see, and then participate in the polls so we can make more content that makes you all smile, because that's also fun and I love the community. So see you soon.
Wow, you made it to the end. Here is the obligatory part where I ask you to follow me on other social media platforms because it profoundly affects my self-worth. Just kidding, it doesn't really. But, please follow me anyway because that would be fun, and I mean fun for my self-esteem. Haha, no, not actually. I am truthfully totally indifferent. And if no one follows me, I'm not gonna cry into a pillow all afternoon. Yeah. I did that last Wednesday, so I think it's out of my system now. Yeah.